Before we start, please make sure to like this video and hit this subscribe button, so you never miss a story like this. And also comments where you are watching from, how many sons and daughters you have. Thanks. I guess you have everything now, huh? I said, standing there with my fists clenched, my pride shredded, and my voice shaking, not from fear, but from rage. Sonia looked me dead in the eye, tossed her hair back, and smirked. You really thought I'd stay with someone who drives a beat-up Corolla? Her friends howled with laughter behind her. I could feel their eyes slicing through me, like I was the joke of the month. And maybe I was, back then. But the truth? That was the day I decided something. I wouldn't just walk away. I'd rise. Hook, 1,000 words. You're embarrassing yourself, Sonia hissed, her voice laced with venom, loud enough for her circle of designer-clad friends to hear. Why don't you just go home and fix your broke little life? We were standing in the middle of a fancy rooftop bar I couldn't even afford to sip water at. She'd invited me, lured me, into this trap. Some twisted setup just to laugh in my face. The moment I walked in, I knew I didn't belong. Everyone here wore money like it was oxygen. Except me. I should have known something was off when she texted, "Let's talk." Maybe we rushed things. That message had hope dripping from it, hope I clung to like a drowning man. But the second I arrived, it was clear, there was no reconciliation. There was only humiliation. You're still wearing those, she said, pointing at my shoes, the same ones I wore during our anniversary dinner just 6 months ago. Ah, girls, he thinks he's going to win me back in Payless specials. The group burst into laughter like it was a chorus they'd rehearsed. Something snapped in me. No, I said, stepping forward. I didn't come here to win you back. I came here to ask why. Why drag me through the mud like this? I gave you everything I had, Sonia. Every extra shift, every late night working Uber or cleaning up kitchens, it was all for you. Please, she scoffed, sipping her overpriced cocktail. You gave me nothing. You gave me stress. You gave me struggle. You think love is enough when you can't even afford to buy a real purse? Her friends giggled. One of them, a bleach blonde with a fake tan and fake laugh, muttered, "Tell him, girl." Tell me what? I barked, voice rising now. That you used me for 3 years, drained me dry, then tossed me aside because I didn't turn into a millionaire overnight? No, Sonia said calmly, venom dripping from each syllable, I'm telling you that I upgraded. The crowd went silent. Upgraded. That one word crushed my chest like a weight I couldn't lift. And the way she said it, like I was some old app version she just deleted from her life. I didn't come here to fight, I said, struggling to keep my voice from cracking. I came here to ask if any of it was ever real. Sonia rolled her eyes and turned to her friends. Do you hear him? Still trying to play the victim. You were always so dramatic. That's why I had to move on. You're not a man, Alex. You're a project. And I don't date projects anymore. A few people around the bar were watching now. I was being publicly humiliated, and she was thriving on it. I laughed, not because it was funny, but because I finally understood. You never loved me, I said quietly. You loved the way I made you feel, needed, important, like a queen. And when I needed someone to believe in me, you ran. You're damn right I ran, she spat. Because I'm not going to drown with someone who's already sinking. I'm not your lifeboat. She turned back to her friends. Let's go. I'm bored of this pity party. And just like that, they turned to leave. But that's when my phone rang. I ignored it. My hands were too busy shaking with fury. It rang again. Sonia glanced over her shoulder, annoyed. Don't tell me that's your bank calling for overdraft fees. I looked at the screen. It was the bank. But not what she thought. I answered. This is Alex speaking. The voice on the other end was calm, professional. Mr. Reyes, this is Carla from Sterling Private Banking. I just wanted to confirm we received your final authorization. The transfer is complete. Your investment portfolio has reached 7 figures. I froze. 7 figures. The words echoed in my ears like a dream I wasn't sure I heard right. Sonia stopped walking. Her friends turned, confused. Wait, what did she say? I didn't even look at her. I just said into the phone, "Thank you, Carla. Appreciate the confirmation." I ended the call and slipped the phone back into my pocket slowly. Sonia blinked. That wasn't real. You're bluffing. I looked her in the eye, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel small. You thought I was broke because I drove a used car. Because I didn't wear Gucci or post fake flexes online. You never asked about the startup I was building while you were shopping with my last $100. Her face went pale. You never asked why I was always tired. Why I skipped meals. Why I wore the same shoes every day. I was investing in something bigger, something real. And I just got the call. I made it. Her friend whispered, "Oh my God." But I wasn't done. I begged you to believe in me, I said, stepping closer. But instead, you laughed. In front of strangers. Like I was disposable. Like my loyalty was a joke. Sonia opened her mouth to speak, but nothing came out. You asked why I came tonight? I continued. I came to say thank you. Thank you, she repeated, stunned. Yeah, I said. You gave me the pain I needed to push harder. To never settle again. To stop looking for love in someone who only loved attention. And with that, I walked past her. Her hand reached out, brushing my arm. Wait, Alex, maybe we. No, I said, not turning around. You already upgraded, remember? And this time, I laughed, as the crowd parted for me, and she was left standing in silence, finally seeing the value of what she threw away. The silence that followed me out of that rooftop bar was louder than all the laughter I'd endured. But I didn't walk away with my head down, not this time. Every step I took felt heavier, but stronger. Like I had just walked out of a fire that didn't destroy me, it forged me. I got in my car, yes, the same beat-up Corolla, she mocked, and stared at the wheel for a second. I remembered all the nights I cried in that driver's seat, hoping for a break. Hoping she'd come around. Hoping life would throw me a lifeline. It never did. So I built my own. Back then, I was just a guy working 2 jobs, trying to teach myself coding at 3 a.m. from YouTube. I'd take a nap on my break behind the pizza shop, then go back in with flour on my face, pretending I wasn't exhausted. Sonia used to send me pictures of vacations she wanted us to take someday. She didn't realize I was already working on the ticket, just not in the way she understood. But while I was planning a future, she was already replacing me. First it was girl nights that turned into overnight stays. Then it was just a coworker who magically bought her a purse I could never afford. I kept quiet, even when the lies were obvious. Because I thought love meant loyalty, even when it hurts. Turns out, I was loyal to someone who only loved the idea of me, the fantasy version I couldn't afford to keep up. And now? Now the tables had turned. I'd sold my first step 6 months ago. Quietly. No champagne, no social media posts. Just a wire transfer and a new tax bracket. I didn't tell anyone, not even my closest friends. Because I wanted to know who still treated me the same when they thought I was still broke. Guess what? Sonia wasn't one of them. The funny part is, the app she laughed at me for building? The one she called a waste of time for someone who couldn't even afford rent? It helps small businesses track cash flow with AI. It's now being piloted in 3 major banks. And the bank that called me? That wasn't just some random branch. That was Sterling. Private. Wealth. Management. Let that sink in. That night, my phone buzzed again. It was a message from Sonia. Sonia, I'm sorry if I went too far tonight. Maybe we can talk sometime? You look different. No emojis this time. No laughing gifs. Just those 5 words. And for a split second, I considered replying. But then I remembered every time I stood outside her apartment with flowers, and she texted, "I'm out with the girls, sorry." I remembered the night I showed her my wireframe prototype, and she rolled her eyes like I was a child showing crayon drawings. I remembered the time I asked her if she was proud of me, and she changed the subject to what her friend's boyfriend bought her. No. She didn't want me. She wanted the version of me that finally looked expensive enough to be seen with. So I didn't reply. Instead, I screenshotted her message and saved it in a folder I titled Remember. Because I never wanted to forget what it looked like when someone only showed up after the win. A week passed. I hadn't replied to Sonia's message, but that didn't stop her. She started liking my old photos. Ones she used to make fun of. Then came the comments, "You always had that spark." Then a DM, "I was just thinking about you today," randomly. Yeah. Randomly, the same day Business Insider wrote a feature on my company. It wasn't random. It was strategic. She didn't miss me. She missed the upgraded version of me. The version that didn't cry on her couch when his business failed. The version that now wore tailored suits instead of hoodies that smelled like garlic knots. She thought success would make me soft. That I'd welcome her back just because she batted her lashes again. She didn't know me anymore. Then came the invite. A party. Her friend's birthday. At the same rooftop bar where she humiliated me. She sent it like it was some kind of peace offering, "Come if you're free, would love to catch up." Catch up? As if she hadn't dragged me through the dirt in front of strangers. As if she didn't twist the knife with every joke at my expense. I almost deleted the message. But then something inside me shifted. No, I wasn't going for her. I was going for me, for the version of me who once sat in that parking lot crying, too ashamed to tell anyone what happened. I wanted to look that version of me in the eye and say, "We made it." They don't laugh now, do they? So I showed up. This time in a charcoal suit, no label flashing, just sharp, clean power. People turned. Conversations paused. Even the waiter straightened up when I walked in. And there she was. Sonia. In the same designer heels she once bragged about, now scuffed, looking like they'd seen better days. Her eyes widened. Her smile flickered. That fake, flickering flame of oops she always used when she was caught. "Wow. Alex? Is that you?" she asked, blinking like she couldn't believe it. "I guess some things really do change." I didn't smile. I just nodded. But she couldn't help herself, she walked over, wine glass in hand, voice honey-coated. "Listen, about last time. I was drunk. Stupid. I didn't mean half the things I said." I let her talk. Let her spiral. Let her fish for forgiveness. But she didn't apologize for how she made me feel. She apologized because now, I looked like someone worth regretting. Then she said it. The sentence that told me everything I needed to know. "I always knew you had it in you. I just didn't think it would take so long." There it was. The mask slipping. Still blaming my timing for her betrayal. I took a deep breath. Looked her in the eye. "You didn't wait because you couldn't see the destination. You got off the train too early, and now you're watching it speed past." She opened her mouth to respond, but I was already turning away. 2 days after that rooftop party, Sonia messaged me again, longer this time. A wall of words I didn't need to read to understand. Regret has a pattern. It always starts with, "I was going through something," and ends with, "Can we talk?" But what caught my eye wasn't what she wrote. It was what she asked. "Are you connected to the Sterling Bank deal? The one buying into small fintech firms?" Interesting. I stared at the screen, then laughed under my breath. That's what this was about. Not the past. Not the apology. It was the call she got. You see, the bank didn't just call me. They called her, too, for a client verification. Because she works there. That same bank where she once mocked me for holding up the lunch line with my stupid startup check. Turns out, I wasn't just a client this time. I was a partner in negotiations. The bank she worked at? My company was in talks to acquire their small business arm. Let me say that again. She laughed at me. In the very building I was now about to partially own. Life doesn't write poetry that sweet, pain does. I didn't reply to her message. Not right away. I let her sweat. Let her connect the dots. She probably asked around, pulled up my file, saw the 7-figure investment. Saw the CEO's name. Saw my name. And I know exactly when it hit her, that her broke ex wasn't struggling anymore. He was the reason her supervisor had been so tense in meetings. He was the man whose signature might show up on her next corporate restructuring memo. I finally messaged her back, 3 words. We're not talking. And I meant that in more ways than one. We weren't talking about the past. We weren't talking about the deal. We weren't talking ever again, because you don't negotiate loyalty retroactively. And from what I heard, she cried. She tried to explain to her boss she knew me personally, as if that was a good thing. But by then, it was too late. I didn't blacklist her. I didn't need to. The universe had already done it for me. See, when someone throws you away because you're not shiny enough, they don't get to come back once you glow. A month later, I got the email. Sterling Bank officially signed the deal. We were now stakeholders, not just in finances, but in leadership. They asked me to come in for a roundtable meeting. Guess who was still in that department? Guess who had to prepare my onboarding presentation? Sonia. She didn't say much when I walked in. Didn't need to. Her silence was louder than her old jokes ever were. She looked at me the way people look at closed doors they used to walk through. As if hoping it would magically open again, just because they knocked nicely this time. But I wasn't angry anymore. I didn't need revenge. Her downfall wasn't my doing, it was her decision. She wrote me off as a joke, and now she had to read my name on every third report. You want to know what power is? It's not yelling. It's not slamming fists or throwing money in someone's face. It's walking into a room where you were once laughed at, and hearing nothing but silence. Because silence means they know. They know they were wrong. They know they gave up on you too early. They know they lost something they can't recover, and no amount of charm can buy it back. I walked out of that meeting feeling lighter than I had in years. Not because I'd won some corporate battle, but because I had nothing left to prove to people who never believed in me. That's the real victory. Not showing them you made it, but realizing you never needed them in the first place. So if you're out there, working in silence, being underestimated, laughed at behind your back, let them laugh. Let them point. Let them whisper. Because one day, when the phone rings, it'll be for you. And trust me, they won't be laughing then.